It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Tennessee Volunteers Director of Softball Operations, Melissa Brown. How are you doing today?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me on here.
That's wonderful. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to work in college athletics?
Yeah, I guess I've just, ever since I was a young kid and starting in athletics, it's just been such a huge part of my life. And I just feel, even playing for the University of Tennessee softball team, just always learning like life lessons. And I just feel like continuing that work in an admin role or just within college athletics, wanting to be able to take the things that I learned throughout playing and kind of help teach those that are coming up after me. And just like, it's been such a big part of my life. It was hard I just didn't really want to let it go. So I think that's just a big part of it. You just learn so many things, and I just feel like I'm a better person because of it.
What is it like being the Director of Softball Operations for your alma mater?
It's definitely been a learning experience, a learning curve, but just being around people that I've known and have built relationships makes it that much easier and like more rewarding to be able to go from an athlete and then a staff member, and just even creating new relationships, different dynamics with the people I've already kind of worked with has been a really cool experience so far. And then, I don't know, I guess just getting to see the new faces that we bring in every year, and kind of like I said before, just getting to hopefully make a positive impact on kids and just help keep the tradition and legacy going of Tennessee softball.
What was it like whenever you got to put on the orange uniform, and what were some of your accomplishments during your playing career?
Exciting times. Just coming to Tennessee was a whole different experience for me, from California, and so coming to Tennessee was just a shock to me at first, but it was just so exciting. I definitely got to learn to love the color orange a little bit more. Blue is my favorite color, so like the lady ball was so cool to me. And so when I played, getting to wear that blue and orange, it was super cool, knowing how much the lady balls are important here at Tennessee, like really taking female athletics seriously. So just that in itself was very important to me. And then I guess some of my accolades, I would consider myself I kind of flew under the radar, I guess. I was never like that star player, but I know that I was kind of the one that the coaches could depend on to put me anywhere on the field and know that the job would get done wherever. And so I feel like I truly embraced that utility player role. And to me, as long as I was out there playing, I was happy. I just wanted to be there no matter what. And so that was kind of my attitude, and I enjoyed it. I wouldn't change anything about it.
Of course, during your playing time, did you ever go to the College World Series as a volunteer? As I know, the Volunteers are very heavy in going to the College World Series.
Yes, that is a great question. I out of the 4 years that I was on during my college career, I was able to participate in 3 College World Series. So I believe it was 2010, 12, and 13. So there was just 1 year out of the 4 that I didn't make it. And so there's not many people, how many college athletic teams, players that can say that they've really experienced it. that often. And so I'm definitely blessed to be able to say that I did that.
Of course, out of those 3 years, when you were at the College World Series, what was that like, and what was it like winning the ring?
Man, you think for me, just playing in front of the Sherry Parker Lee crowd was super cool. I mean, stands filled up and some people couldn't get in. And so for me to like go from Sherry Parker Lee and thinking that was cool to then play in front of a crowd that's, I don't know the numbers back then, it was still huge. And, today it's even crazier. They're having to like expand, I'm sure, to fit everyone. But I think that initial like playing in front of that huge crowd was nerve-wracking at first, but super cool to just see how much support and how important softball is to people and how fun it is to watch. So that was cool. Do you mind to repeat that second part of your question?
What was it like putting on the ring once you won the College World Series?
Oh, man, I know that it's just a blessing to be able to say that I was a part of it. And so it's kind of cool to have that memento that I can look back and kind of relive some of those memories and to be able to share that with the teammates.
What was your time like at LSU softball as a volunteer assistant?
It was great. Coming from, the University of Tennessee, I'm, so used to, the way things were run and practices, just in all aspects, being a player, being a manager. So I kind of did have a different role at Tennessee before going to LSU. And so in my head, I'm like, all right, like it's going to be like pretty similar. We're both SEC schools, but then to go there and be in it and see their, philosophy and how they coach and just the different, it's a different coach, different coaching staff. And it was just exciting to me to be able to be a part of something that was not what I was used to, but it was, just another learning experience. I really enjoyed working there, getting to know new people, learn, like be a part of their life and family. And so it's definitely made me a better person in a way. Like I got to see that coaching side and I enjoyed it very much. And then kind of got the call from Tennessee to come back to my alum and try the admin side, but I've loved my time there for sure.
What was it like to obviously see LSU go into the College World Series and be a volunteer assistant while they're in the College World Series?
Yeah, it's crazy how even just going from a player to a coach, kind of the different, experience and feeling that you get of like when you were a player, like I worked hard and this was the goal, and it's always the goal as the coach too, but to feel like, all right, I was a part of making this happen and I helped them reach that, and knowing what they were feeling because I had been in their shoes was super cool. And to just know that I had a part in that in a different way. I really enjoyed that for sure.
What was it like for you coming back to Tennessee, your alma mater, and now taking over as a staff member role versus being a player?
Yeah, I would definitely say like one of the first things I realized, this might not be the normal answer, but I feel like one of the first things I realized in being a staff and specifically in my director of operations role is like there are so many different people that have a hand and play a part in making our athletes experience what it is. And so at first, like it was like a shock, but also like it really made me appreciate it even that much more, like knowing there's so many people that are here and the resources, and like just I had this thought of like, okay, maybe I took it for granted a little bit, like how lucky and blessed we are to be able to play for Tennessee softball. So I don't know if that's a standard answer for that question, but that was kind of my first reaction. Happy to be back and play a new role for sure.
What are some of your roles and responsibility when it comes to the director of softball?
Oh man, I feel like the list is endless, and every year feel like new things get added, and I'm appreciative of that. But I would say the first thing that's coming to mind now, because we're in that kind of part of the year, is big help. I'm a big helper when it comes to on-campus recruiting. So I do a lot of help putting the itineraries together for when we get prospects in that want to see the school, and I get to be like the main person that's getting to show them what we have to offer. So that's a big part. I do coordinate all of the travel, so hotels, flights, meals. So when we are in season, I'm coordinating all of the travel aspect of that. I am in charge of, we just, crazy to think about, we just put in our Nike order for the next year, a year in advance. So that is kind of part of what I get to do too, is kind of look through all the cool gear that we get to hand out to the girls, and be a part of picking and choosing what they get to wear. So that's kind of fun. And then just basically I am a liaison between our head coach and, like I said, all those other people that are involved in athletics. So I kind of the go-between between our sports information, fan experience, compliance, event management. So kind of anytime we need the girls or the coaches to be a part of something, it's like I'm kind of that go-between. Okay, like what does the schedule look like? What are they going to be available for? And just that kind of messenger person. So I've gotten to meet and make relationships with a lot of different people, and that's been huge for me, is learning the importance of that.
Of course, as you talked about in charge of official visit, what is it like to be in charge of the official visit, and what kind of stuff does Tennessee softball do for official visit?
Yeah, it's cool because really we're just trying to show them every aspect, every resource that they're gonna have, and you're introducing them to every person that's probably gonna be in their daily life, like on a day-to-day basis. Who are these? You're introducing them to the people that they're going to be involved with and seeing daily to weekly basis. So that's really an important part. So we're showing them, introducing them to our academic advisor, the person that's going to help keep them on track and get them through the major that they want to major in, and even develop their skills so they're prepared after. So we're introducing them to her. We're introducing and showing the weight room, like who's the strength coach is going to be working with you multiple days a week to get you in that right position to perform at your best. We obviously we're touring them through at our stadium and showing them what that's like, having them watch a practice. So getting to see that coaching side of our coaches rather than, the coach that you just get to talk to on the phone. They get to see like what it's like in action, meeting the players. And then just like even the campus itself, the other facilities that they're going to be working in on a day-to-day basis. It's important for them to kind of see what campus is like. The dorms and where our athletes live now, at least when it's on campus, is like I have a hard time calling it a dorm. Our Stokely Hall is amazing, and so it's important to kind of show them like where they're going to be living, for the first year, maybe two of their college life, and just kind of show them that, let them experience, some different restaurants around campus that are good go-tos that our kids like. So it's a fun time. It really is. So.
Of course, during the official visit, do they get to try on the Tennessee Volunteers jersey, or do they just get to look at it?
No, I feel like we have, when they're on an official visit, we do kind of get to let them put that jersey on, and of course, for sizing purposes, we're trying to make sure they're ready to go for when they come and play with us that next year. So yeah, we have a room where all of our uniforms are hung up, so it's kind of cool to see like all the different uniforms. So some of them get to see it, and then like if they're on their official visit, we like to kind of set up a little photo shoot where we have those pictures to kind of release, when they actually do come and sign their letter of intent. So that's a fun time for them to get to put that on. And for me, I'm like, all right, what size are they? So like I get that information, but then for them to have those pictures that they get to see on like social media when we can finally release that they've get to come to Tennessee. So that's fun.
Of course, as a former Tennessee Volunteer softball player, what is it like to see the future softball players put on that jersey on the official visit, knowing obviously what you've done throughout your career?
Yeah, I like to I guess for me, it's just it's a cool thing to see and know that in my role that like you see this new kid that you've really only talked to in person, and they're putting on this jersey, and then I get to wonder and like get excited about seeing what that's going to turn into, like getting to watch them play when they finally come to campus. So like for me, I'm not really involved in going and out and watching them play. So for me, it's like, okay, I get to see these kids and they put the uniform on. And I'm like, all right, like I can't wait to see what they can do, like how athletic they are, because the coaches really are the only ones that have seen them. So it's like, I just get to wonder for like a year of like, all right, this is cool. They're looking good in that uniform, but I want to see what they can do. I'm excited to see what they're going to bring to the table.
Of course, with this previous year with COVID, how hard was it to, of course, plan out the travel and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, I would say I'm hoping that we're on a better track for this upcoming season. But even last year, there were definitely was interesting. I feel like I had to wait for so much longer than normal. Like normally right now I'm kind of putting together like hotels and getting all that stuff planned. So for me last year, it was like very late in the game before we like for sure kind of got the go ahead of like, yeah, you're going to play your full season. And so for me, it was like, I'm such a planner. I was a little anxious at first, like, oh my gosh, we don't have any of this stuff planned yet. So in that sense, it was a little stressful, but we got it done. And I was so thankful that truly we got a whole season, unlike some other sports that went through some crazy times last fall. So this year has been so far a little bit easier, and keeping our fingers crossed that we just get to kind of go the same way that we used to go. So
What is something that you learn now that you didn't know before becoming a director of softball operations?
Let's see. I would say, again, I kind of said it a few times, but like, I feel like I've had to make changes in the way I would typically interact and get to know people, in that there are, in my job, things are ever changing. And as much as I like to plan, you got to be super flexible. And so part of that is just like, I feel like I've really been diligent about making relationships and getting to know people outside of athletics, so that like when stuff happens and I need a last minute favor, like I've built a good relationship with some of these people. And I think for me, typically being very introverted and not really a social person, like this job has made me different in that way, and I'm grateful for it, and I'm thankful. And so I think in that way, that's something I've learned, is just the importance of networking and just treating people like nicely, and just making it more about just softball or whatever their job is, if that makes sense. So that's something I've learned to do.
What advice would you give upcoming future college softball players looking to play college softball?
I would say I feel like any athlete that's kind of looking to play in college, and especially at a school at the SEC level, really is those kids are probably going to be like very athletic. They're going to be athletic enough. And so for me, what I've learned in watching our coaches and kind of hearing what they talk about when they're out recruiting and stuff is more about like, can you be a good learner, and like, do you give 100% and go at it 100% of the time with your best effort, and are you positive about it? And so for me, the advice that I would give is just to like always try to be the best version of yourself anytime you step on the field. And that doesn't necessarily mean like your skill, but just like that effort that you put in and the attitude you have. Can you be receptive of what coaches are trying to tell you, or if that makes sense? So for me, it's more about like that character and what you bring and what you show, even more than just like the skills that you can portray.
What advice would you give somebody looking to work in college athletics, whether it's going straight from obviously their playing career like you did to straight
Sure.
to college athletics, or vice versa?
Sure. I would say a few things. Definitely, I think it's important to get to know different people. Like if they're a college student and they're looking to work in college athletics, definitely making the effort to try and meet different people within an athletics department and kind of learn what they do. And then the other advice that I would give is just to I guess understand the world of college athletics, in that like sometimes it keeps you busy, and it's not always just like a 9 to 5 job. And so you have to kind of come into it knowing like people are serious about college athletics and it's important, and that there might be some times where you're working a whole lot extra than you ever expected to. And of course it's so worth it in the end, but just to kind of come into it knowing like how important and crazy, and how sometimes it can be like you're kind of on call and you're going to do what you got to do to get stuff done. And that's kind of the expectation, at least that I've kind of had and told myself, like, I'm here and I'm doing it because I want the best for our team. And I think that's kind of the mindset that a lot of these athletes or people that work in athletics have, is like, how can we always look to be the best team, the best athletic department as a whole? So just a few things that I would keep in mind.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the Tennessee Volunteers softball program at?
So my information, I believe, is on like our softball website, like email and phone. But I am also I'm not on Twitter, but I do Instagram and Facebook. My Facebook has my middle name in it, so Melissa Nicole Brown. And my social media, it doesn't have Tennessee in it, but let me see. I'm not on it the most, so I even have to look up to make sure I give you the right handle. But Sorry, bear with me. I guess you can look me up at MellyB_11, Melissa Nicole Brown on Instagram, or Melissa Nicole Brown on Facebook, is where you could probably find me.
Thank you again, Melissa Brown, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Tennessee Volunteers as the Director of Softball Operations.
Thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.